Here with Concordia head baseball coach Ryan Dupic to preview the 2024 season. As we record this, you've had a little bit of official preseason preparation, I guess, a little less than a month, I think, from the first official games of the season. But it's year 10 for you at Concordia, which probably sounds kind of weird to say, but I guess what's something that maybe has made you most proud of leading this program since you got here in 2015?
Yeah, I think about the futures of players are the first thing that comes to mind. And, I think we have really good kids here. I know everybody says that, but we got great kids. They work hard and they really love each other, and you can see them growing as people. Thinking about just the growth and the transformation of the program, it's just been the quality of the people and the investment by so many people who've been a part of that. So, I think just the quality of our student athletes and the support that we receive, that I get from people like Devin and Angela, and those are the things that really come to mind.
Just looking back at 2023 quickly, kind of a continuation of success the program's had, one of 7 NAI programs, I believe, with at least 40 wins in 3 straight years. But what does that mean as a program to kind of be mentioned with some of those programs that are always at the national tournament, making the World Series, that type of thing?
Yeah, it's a great accomplishment. I think, to the point of your first question, it kind of shows some of the progress of the program and maybe the place that we're at now versus when we, maybe where we were 5 years ago or 6 years ago or 8 years ago. And, it's a great accomplishment. I think it's nice that we've built a program that's, it's been very competitive on a consistent basis. And, obviously we're looking to continue to build upon that. Last season's team certainly left a really strong mark and continued to make this a great program, and we're going to see if we can keep making it better.
It's also a program that's averaged more than 100 home runs per season the last 3 years. When you kind of step back and think about that, just how incredible has it been to watch that?
Yeah, it is pretty incredible. I think to your point, it's been done the past couple of years, so it starts to become a little bit commonplace, but I still don't really view it like that. I've been able to be fortunate enough to coach for a long time, and it's pretty abnormal to have that type of offensive production and to have that many guys who can contribute in that way. So we've got some really, really good players who are kind of winding up their careers here in the next year or two, and I think it's well worth getting out there to see them play, because it's pretty special to see what they can do, especially when they all get it going.
And it's going to be our last year, I think, to see Joey Grabansky, Jaden Quinn, some other guys too. But how do you explain kind of just how they've reached that level of production, Joey and Jaden in particular?
Yeah, I mean, they're really good players. They've worked really hard. They're good kids. I think they love to hit. They love to play. That's what I think about when I think about Joey and Jaden, is they like to play baseball. They just have always had a really strong passion for the game. I still think a lot of this stems from that. They were just kids that I think grew up really loving to play. Ever since I've known them, they're guys that you can just tell love to play the game. Jaden, I came to a camp when he was really young and kind of followed him through high school, and he was somebody that just always had such a strong passion for it, seemed to love to play. And Joey's out playing summer baseball all over the place because he just loves to play the game. So I think there's a real strong passion for them in terms of just the joy they get out of playing baseball, and they certainly love to hit and love to train.
Well, maybe the way those guys were hitting the ball out of the park last year overshadowed some guys a little bit, but you have Jay Adams, probably one of the best players in the history of the program, back. Also, Alec Blakestad and Ty Nikolajczyk have been great players for this program. Other guys too, but how do you feel like kind of the depth of the lineup is looking again this year?
Yeah, those are great people to mention, because Joey and Q have hit so many home runs that, to your point, they do kind of get overshadowed a bit. But Jay's production here really stands with anybody in the history of the program. He's been an absolutely incredible player for us. We're thrilled he's come back for one more year. And I think he's going to have a great season. Just feel great about him. Alec Blakestad's probably one of the more overshadowed players as well. I mean, he's a two-time All-Conference player. I think he's one of the best center fielders and players in our region and across the country. And his growth and maturation in all facets has just been incredible. And he's just a really, really good player. His athleticism is incredible. He's our best kind of five-tool type guy who can do so many different things. And then you've seen that with Ty, just from the time he came in as a freshman. He really showed he could hit. Took it to another level last year. He is a tough out. You can make the case that if you're in a big at bat and you want somebody to really grind something out, that you'd rather not face him as much as anybody because of just how tough he is to pitch to. So the depth really goes along, and guys like Tanner Tompkins and some of the other new players we have, like a Matt Rhodes and a Brett Halleck and some of these other players, I mean, they really contribute to how much lineup depth we're going to have a chance to have. Jimmy Bloomberg and others. So I think it's going to be a big strength of ours for sure this year.
Looking at pitching a little bit, if everything went ideally, you'd have a healthy Alex Johnson and Caden Johnson at the top of the rotation. What can you, I guess, tell us about their progress and kind of the hope that they'll be ready to go in February?
Yeah. Alex is going to miss the year. He got hurt with elbow stuff, so he's had surgery, and we're going to try to see if we can get him back next year. Caden Johnson's progressing along well. Has worked really, really hard, and is looking sharp, and we're looking forward to seeing him pitch this season. So we've got Caden on track. It was a big loss for us to lose Alex, both in terms of what he can provide, but also just the type of person he is. But we're going to keep him around. He's a great leader and a great kid. He'll come back and rebound from this strong.
Who do you look to kind of fill into that rotation? I know Blake Benson is a key guy that's back as well. You have hopefully building up some depth right now.
Yeah, Blake Benson is going to be a big key, piece for us. I think he's a lot better right now than he was a year ago, and I thought he was a pretty good pitcher a year ago. But his progress has been significant. I think he's on a better track. I think we're kind of constantly just trying to press into him to just trust himself and keep committed to what he does and keeping things simple. He's really good when he's like that. Caden Bogarski and Christian Gutierrez have been kind of guys that have been really reliable for us as really solid, good pitching, innings-eating guys that know how to execute and have a ton of experience. And now I think they're both progressing now to being upperclassmen, and I think there's something really positive about that. I've seen both of them here in the last week or so. I feel like they've been as good as I've seen them in a long time. So I'm really, really encouraged and looking forward to seeing those guys pitch. And then we have another guy or two. Braxton Greenberg is kind of a swing guy that I feel like could do both. We might use him more initially out of the bullpen, but he has started. He's been a really good starter as well. I think Quinn Zaborowski is a guy that can also give you some length. So I think there's some other people that give us a chance to do that as well.
Mm-hmm. I know in the fall you talked about run prevention being a focus, and that's goes beyond just what your pitchers are doing. What can you say about the progress there? And I know there's maybe been a little bit of experimenting with guys in different spots.
Yeah, I think we have a better structure in relation to how we're training guys defensively. I think our position players, to their credit, more this year than any, I feel like there's been a strong commitment for us to try to make some progress on the defensive side, which I think is an area we need to improve, along with our pitch making. Jimmy Bloomberg's been a big addition for us. He's a really good defender at shortstop. That gives us a chance to be a little bit more flexible defensively. Jaden Quinn has been working really hard at third base. We've moved Jay Adams around a little bit from time to time. We've moved Ty Nikolajczyk around from time to time. So I think we have some guys that have some versatility. I still think we're probably going to land on certain guys at certain spots, but I think we have a little bit more positional flexibility than we've had in years past. So I'm encouraged by that. I think we're headed on the right path with that. I think that will be a big key to our season, is just collectively our ability to execute behind the plate defensively, on the bump, and then also, particularly in the infield, getting a little bit more athletic in the outfield at times, just trying to find ways to be a little bit more sound when it comes to preventing runs.
Wanted to touch on Ben Berg. I think it's been a couple months or so now that he's been a full-time part of your staff. How do you see the guys responding to him? Quite a few of them were teammates with him, so they're familiar with him.
Yeah, it's a unique position for him. I mean, he obviously just got done as a player, so that's a pretty quick transition. But I think there's a really good sense of connection and a strong trust level there. I think one of the things that's really unique within this is, I think speaking on Ben's behalf, I just think he's very mature, very wise, and is incredibly service-oriented. So I don't think he's a guy that's going to step into a position like this and say, hey, we're going to blow this up, and this is all about me and my way. And I think on the other side of the player's perspective, we have a lot of upperclassmen who I think have established really good systems and routines, but at the same time are constantly trying to grow and improve as well. So I think there's a strong sense of leadership there, and I think the effort can become very collaborative, which is what you want. I mean, I'm in my 17th year of coaching, that's what I want. I never wanted to be just me pushing in on people and saying it has to be like this. You're always trying to find ways to get people to work in alignment together. So I feel really good about that group, about the systems and processes we're implementing and the people who are doing it. And I think they're going to have a chance to have a really good year.
Mm-hmm. Well, this will also be the 10th year you're going through the GPAC, and last year the conference you'd gotten an at-large bid to national tournament, so 3 teams. What have you noticed just about how the league has kind of trended in recent years?
Yeah, I think it's gotten better. I think there's been a kind of an influx of different coaches, different people, different programs, probably administrative support, etc. But I think we've seen that teams in our region can be competitive on a national scale, and I think when that happens, you can see other programs start to really commit and believe about the progress and growth they can have. And I think we've seen that across the board. I mean, with 3 teams getting to the national tournament, I think last year was maybe the first time you've had 3 teams get in and everybody won games at the national tournament. We had more successful non-conference victories against good competition last year as a league than we've ever had. Mount Marty did not make the national tournament last year, but I think absolutely was in that mix and could have as well. You've got a team like Jamestown who's been so competitive, and I think will be really good this year as well. And then other programs that have coaches who have such strong histories of being really good and really competitive, like a Northwestern and other teams like that. So, I think it's an easy thing to say, and everybody says it, but there is actual tangible proof that this is the best the league has ever been. And I don't think this year is going to be any different. I think it's going to be really competitive, and it should be a fun challenge.
Mm-hmm. Well, before you get into GPAC games, you'll play a schedule that sets up a little bit like last year with the different places you're going, and I know that challenged you. And how do you like the way things set up leading into conference play again?
Yeah, it's a really big challenge. Coming out of the gate and playing teams like Oklahoma City and Bellevue, who have such a rich history and really, really good competitive programs, and we'll go down and play in Joplin again. We'll play Culver Stockton, who had some really good players, and I think is a growing, building program that's going to be really competitive. And then going down south is just a huge challenge. Playing teams like Kaiser, and I think last year we played St. Thomas. This year I'm not entirely sure what all of our schedule will look like yet, but we'll play some really good competitive teams down there, and I think we certainly held our own and showed we can be competitive with them with some of the victories we have. But regardless, it's just going to make us a better team. It's going to make us a more competitive team and a closer team. We're going to learn a lot, and our ability to keep learning and keep progressing is going to be a big key to our season. But I'm looking forward to it. I think the players will as well, because it's such a big challenge.
All right, lastly, can I get a SCO Dogs?
SCO Dogs, let's go.